What if I told you that success, the very thing we all chase, is not the finish line, and that failure, the one thing we fear the most, is not the end of the road? In a world obsessed with instant results, applause, and titles, we've lost sight of something far more important: the journey that shapes us, the values that sustain us, and the quiet strength that carries us when no one is watching. We celebrate victories as if they define us, and we hide our failures as if they diminish us. But the truth is far more powerful. Success is not final, and failure is not fatal. Every high point we reach is only a stepping stone, and every setback carries within it the seed of a greater comeback. The real test is not in how high we rise, but in how deeply we stay rooted in integrity, in vision, and in humility. So today, let us explore a different perspective, one that values growth over glory, purpose over praise, and legacy over loudness. Because in the end, it's not the applause that defines our worth, but the principles we stand on when the applause fades away. Success is a journey, not a destination. Many people mistakenly believe that once they've achieved a particular goal, perhaps a big promotion, launching a successful product, or receiving public recognition, they have arrived. But the truth is, success is never a fixed point. It is not a one-time event or a final resting place. Instead, it is a continuous process of learning, growing, and evolving with time. The world does not stand still, and neither should we. Each accomplishment is only a stepping stone, not the summit itself. Believing that success is final can make one complacent, arrogant, or resistant to change. That mindset can slowly become the very reason why progress halts. The moment we start thinking we have done enough, or that we are immune to failure because of our past victories, we risk falling behind. The business world, for instance, is filled with companies that once ruled the market but disappeared because they stopped innovating. They rested on their past success and failed to prepare for the future. That is why it's essential to understand that success must be sustained by hard work, humility, and a willingness to adapt. Every new success brings new responsibilities. If a person becomes a leader through dedication, the real test begins after the title is earned. Now, they must lead with vision, guide others, and bear the weight of expectations. True success is seen not in the achievement itself, but in what one does after achieving it. Will the person use their position to empower others? Will they remain honest and fair even when the world applauds them? These are the deeper questions that define long-term success. Moreover, success must also be measured by the value it adds, not just to one's own life, but to the lives of others. A profitable company may be considered successful, but if it fails to treat its employees with respect or act responsibly in society, its success is shallow. On the other hand, someone who brings positive change to others' lives, even in small ways, reflects a success that is more meaningful and lasting. There is also a quiet side to success that people often overlook. Real success doesn't always come with noise, awards, or attention. Sometimes it is found in daily discipline, in the courage to do what is right when no one is watching, or in the strength to keep going after being knocked down. These moments may never make headlines, but they build the kind of character that sustains true success. The journey of success is lifelong. Each phase presents new challenges, new lessons, and new chances to grow. If we keep moving, keep learning, and keep refining who we are, then success becomes a path we walk, not a place we stop. And on this path, it is not the destination that defines us, but the way we walk it. Alienable is a lesson, not a defeat. Many people grow up believing that failure is something to be ashamed of, a sign of weakness, incompetence, or lack of ability. But this perspective is not only limiting, it's deeply misleading. In truth, failure is one of life's greatest teachers. It has the power to reveal truths we might never learn through success. When we experience failure, it forces us to confront reality, evaluate our actions, and ask difficult questions about what went wrong and why. This process of reflection painful as it may be, becomes the foundation for future growth. Failure strips away illusions. When everything falls apart, when a plan doesn't work out, or when the outcome is not what we expected, we are pushed to go deeper, not just into strategy or skill, but into character. We begin to examine our resilience, our mindset, and our approach to problems. This is where wisdom begins. People who have never failed often lack the depth that comes from struggle. But those who have failed, who have fallen and gotten up again, develop a maturity and inner strength that cannot be taught in any classroom or found in any book. The path to success is really a straight line. Behind every strong entrepreneur, inventor, or leader, there are stories of setbacks, rejections, missed opportunities, and heartbreaks. These failures, however, were not the end of the story. In fact, they were necessary chapters. Without failure, there is no innovation. Without missteps, there is no discovery. When something doesn't go according to plan, it opens the door to a better plan, one that may not have been visible before. Failure also teaches humility. It reminds us that we are not infallible and that we do not have all the answers. This humility allows us to listen better, ask for help when needed, and remain open to feedback. In business or in life, the willingness to learn from failure often separates those who grow from those who stagnate. It is not the fall that defines a person, it is their response to it. Will they rise again? Will they carry the lessons forward, or will they stay down, discouraged and defeated? One of the greatest gifts of failure is clarity. When we fail, we often discover what truly matters to us. We learn who stands by us in hard times. We recognize which values we refuse to compromise, even in loss. These insights are not visible in moments of celebration or praise. They come in silence, in struggle, and in solitude. Failure is never easy, and it is not something to seek out carelessly. But when it arrives, it should not be feared. It should be faced with honesty and courage. Because failure, when approached with the right mindset, becomes not a full stop, but a comma in the sentence of our journey. It becomes the soil in which the seeds of wisdom, perseverance, and future success are planted. Humility in success is strength. When individuals achieve something significant, be it wealth, recognition, or influence, the natural temptation is to celebrate, to enjoy the applause, and sometimes even to believe they are superior to others. Yet true greatness lies in resisting that temptation. It lies in the ability to remain grounded, to remember the struggle that led to success, and to acknowledge that no one achieves anything entirely on their own. Humility is not about denying one's accomplishments. It's about recognizing them with gratitude and using them responsibly. Success has a way of testing character more deeply than failure. While failure humbles us naturally, success gives us the opportunity to choose humility. This choice speaks volumes about a person's values. When someone reaches the top and still treats others with kindness, listens more than they speak, and credits others for their contributions, they reflect a quiet strength that leaves a lasting impression. That kind of leader earns loyalty not through authority but through respect. People often admire those who carry success with dignity. In contrast, arrogance repels. The moment someone starts using their success to belittle others or act with entitlement, they begin to isolate themselves from truth and wisdom. Arrogance creates a false sense of security, blinding individuals to the very flaws that may lead to their downfall. Humility, on the other hand, keeps a person open to advice, open to correction, and open to continued growth. In business or leadership, a humble person builds stronger relationships. They listen to their team, value each voice, and never assume they are above learning. Even after achieving remarkable milestones, they remain students of life. Their humility becomes a magnet. It draws talent, fosters trust, and creates an environment where people feel safe to express ideas or make mistakes without fear. This, in turn, breeds innovation and long-term progress. Humility also nurtures a sense of purpose beyond personal gain. A humble individual often asks, how can my success serve others? They look for ways to give back, to lift others as they climb, and to make their influence count for something meaningful. This mindset brings fulfillment that applause alone can never provide. It transforms success into significance. What makes humility so powerful is that it doesn't demand attention. It doesn't announce itself or seek the spotlight. Instead, it is observed in the small gestures, the way someone speaks to their staff, how they treat people who can offer them nothing in return, or how they carry themselves in rooms full of praise. These actions speak louder than any speech or title ever could. Humility is not weakness, it is not insecurity. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are, and the wisdom to understand that success is not a personal crown, but a shared outcome. Those who remain humble in moments of triumph are the ones who rise above pride, sustain their success, and inspire others not just with their words, but through their example. Courage in failure builds resilience. When a person faces failure, they encounter not just the loss of a goal, but the emotional weight that follows. Disappointment, self-doubt, fear of judgment, and sometimes even shame. In those moments, it becomes easy to give in, to walk away, or to settle for less. But the individuals who show courage during failure are the ones who choose to confront those emotions, stand up to fear, and keep moving forward despite uncertainty. That act alone builds a strength that cannot be developed in comfort or success. It takes courage to look at failure honestly, to admit what went wrong, and to take responsibility without falling into self-pity. Courage allows a person to own their part in the fall without letting it define who they are. This level of emotional strength builds the foundation of resilience, a mindset that no setback is permanent, and that something valuable can still come from it. Resilience is not about avoiding pain, it's about navigating through it with clarity and purpose. In the real world, no one is immune to failure. Every leader, every entrepreneur, every artist, and every innovator has faced rejection, criticism, or defeat at some point. What separates them is not that they succeeded every time, but that they dared to rise again after falling. Courage in failure fuels this rise. It tells a person you are not done yet and reminds them that failing is not the opposite of success. It is often part of the journey to it. When courage is exercised in moments of failure, it rewires the way a person views challenges. They begin to understand that fear is not something to run from, but something to face head-on. They learn that mistakes are not final, and that setbacks can lead to breakthroughs if handled with persistence and a clear mind. This mental shift is the essence of resilience, the ability to adapt, endure, and rebuild stronger than before. Courage also helps protect one's sense of identity during failure. When the world stops applauding and when efforts don't yield expected results, it's easy to question self-worth. But those with courage separate the outcome from their core values. They hold on to their integrity, their vision, and their belief in their own potential. They may bend under pressure, but they do not break. And with every failure faced bravely, they grow more confident, not in avoiding mistakes, but in their ability to survive them. What emerges from this process is a deeper strength that doesn't waver with circumstances. It's a quiet force, often unnoticed by others, but it shows up in difficult decisions, in the ability to try again, and in the refusal to let failure have the final word. Courage in failure is the birthplace of resilience, and resilience is what allows dreams to be pursued not once, but again and again, no matter how many times they are tested. Long-term vision over short-term gains is a principle that defines sustainable success. In a world that constantly promotes instant gratification, quick wins, and overnight fame, It takes wisdom and patience to look beyond the immediate and build something that will endure. Many people are tempted to chase what brings fast results, whether it's profit, attention, or approval. But those who understand the value of long-term vision know that real progress often takes time, effort, and sacrifice. They are not easily distracted by trends or shortcuts because they see the bigger picture. Choosing long-term vision means planting seeds today that may not bear fruit for months or even years. It requires strategic thinking, discipline, and the ability to delay rewards for something greater down the road. Whether it's building a company, developing a skill, or creating a legacy, the path of long-term success involves setbacks, repeated effort, and a deep connection to purpose. People with this mindset stay focused when others quit. They are driven not just by outcomes, but by the impact they want to leave behind. Short-term gains can often feel satisfying. A sudden increase in sales, a viral moment, or a quick promotion might boost confidence, but without a solid foundation, these wins rarely last. They can sometimes even cause more harm if they shift focus away from the core values and mission. When decisions are made purely for immediate benefit, they may overlook what is ethical, sustainable, or truly beneficial in the long run. This kind of thinking creates a fragile structure that may crumble when challenges arise. A long-term thinker invests in people, not just profits. They build relationships, nurture talent, and understand that trust takes time to develop. They do not compromise integrity for quick results. They are willing to walk away from tempting opportunities if those opportunities threaten the greater goal. This kind of leadership creates organizations, communities, and movements that last beyond one generation. It inspires loyalty and admiration because it's not based on performance alone, it's based on purpose. Long-term vision also encourages adaptability. Because the journey is longer, it includes many changes along the way. Markets shift, technologies evolve, and circumstances fluctuate. But a clear vision allows for flexibility within a defined purpose. It becomes a compass that keeps the direction steady, even if the route has to change. People who focus only on short-term rewards often lack this resilience. They're quick to panic or abandon the mission when things go wrong. When long-term vision drives actions, it brings depth to success. Achievements are not just measured by numbers or recognition, but by the quality and longevity of what has been created. There is meaning in the work, value in the struggle, and honor in the legacy. The people who build with a long-term perspective may not always be the loudest or the fastest, but they are often the ones who are remembered, respected, and trusted when the noise fades and only substance remains. Integrity matters more than applause. In the pursuit of success, it is easy to become consumed by the desire for recognition, approval, and admiration. Applause feels rewarding. It validates effort, draws attention, and can sometimes open doors. But applause is temporary. It changes with trends, public opinion, and circumstances. Integrity, on the other hand, is enduring. It is the invisible thread that holds a person's character together. It is doing what is right even when no one is watching, even when it's inconvenient, unpopular, or costly. A person with integrity chooses principles over popularity. They make decisions based on values, not personal gain. They resist the urge to manipulate, deceive, or cut corners just to look successful on the outside. This quiet commitment to honesty builds inner strength and earns trust that applause alone cannot give. People may admire those who are loud and charming, but they follow and rely on those who are consistent and ethical. In the long run, trust is far more powerful than attention. Integrity also protects against the corruption that success can sometimes bring. The higher one climbs, the more temptation there is to abandon core values in exchange for comfort, prestige, or influence. Applause can blur judgment, It can make a person believe they are untouchable or always right. But integrity keeps a person grounded. It reminds them of who they are, what they stand for, and where they came from. It sets a clear line that they will not cross, no matter how much they are praised or pressured. In business, integrity creates lasting relationships. Clients, employees, and partners may initially be drawn to performance, but they stay because of trust. An organization led by someone with integrity becomes a place where people feel safe, respected, and valued. It becomes known not just for its results, but for the way it treats people. This reputation is not built overnight, but once it's earned, it becomes a foundation for enduring success. Even in difficult times, people are more likely to stand by leaders and institutions that have proven their honesty and reliability. Living with integrity also brings personal peace. When actions align with values, there is no need to live in fear of being exposed, no anxiety about maintaining a false image. There is clarity and freedom in knowing that success was earned without betrayal, deception, or compromise. This peace cannot be bought or faked. It comes only from a life lived truthfully. While applause fades, integrity leaves a legacy. People may forget what someone achieved, but they rarely forget how that person made them feel or how they stood firm in the face of challenges. Integrity may not always bring applause, but it brings something deeper: respect, trust, and a sense of purpose that outlives fame. Those who choose integrity over applause may not always be celebrated loudly, but they build lives and careers that stand the test of time.